Django is live. Are we live?
Ladies and
So what's up,
gentlemen,
Task?
children, just hi.
Oh, you back?
Oh, we're back, guys.
John, you might want
we
to start that again.
start that over. We're gonna do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll have a quiet time, and then I'll know where to edit the video. Yeah, you okay?
No, I was talking about your intro.
Well, that's what I was gonna do.
You started it, then Jimmy just started talking.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. It's all right.
He's only
We're
been here
gonna-
once. He doesn't know the protocol yet. By the
protocol.
time he's here 4 times, then he'll.
I gotta wait for everything to kick in. So there's this delay. It takes about 30 seconds.
So
for
that
it to
was. I
loading
thought
all
you
the
were like
different
you were doing
feeds
this.
getting
No,
on
I
there.
was doing. Yeah, I was doing
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
And
conducting
then he
the
has
magic.
family evidently screaming in the background.
It's always screaming here, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the CryptoManiacs podcast. This is going to be a gong show of a show. I can already tell. We've got a really good friend of ours back for his second appearance. But before we get him into the mix, we got to check on Task, make sure he didn't panic sell all of his Hive and all of his Leo, and he's still here. You didn't dump everything, did you? No.
No, the 13-week power down. I was tempted, but the 13-week power down prevented me from selling all my Hive. After the market crashed from 61 to 55 or whatever it did.
Awful.
Yeah, it's.
How do you live with yourself?
I don't know. It's tough. I mean, I try to get away from myself, John, but everywhere I go, I show up.
Seems to keep following yourself. It's really weird.
Yeah, it's I should bring this up with my therapist. But anyway, yeah. So we got another ball dude on. So we stopped the run of hair. Ooh,
Yep.
Look at that! Look at
Yeah,
that!
That
I
looks
even got
awesome,
the ring
right?
around my head. That's good. It's good.
The
Yeah.
cue balls.
Yeah. It's
The cue balls. Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Jimmy
so,
Adames, ladies and gentlemen. Jimmy back for his second
What's up,
appearance
guys?
on the show.
Thank you.
Since
It's always an honor.
before we went live, we
Wait,
started talking.
Didn't we on Friday we got a name for him? Didn't we decide we're calling him Mr. Listener or King Listener?
The king.
The king
King
is
listener. Yeah. KLN. There you go. That's his acronym. We're hip. We're cool. Task. Anyways,
Yeah.
Jimmy's back. Jimmy is back. And since we last spoke on the show, he's become like Task alluded to, the king of the listeners. One of the top holders, if not the top holder of listeners tokens. He's absolutely crushing it with Leo Threads. I think that's his new addiction for sure.
Yeah, it is. You can tell. He's like me. He moves from one to the other. So give him a new toy for next.
But wait, there's more. He's also now addicted to Like To. All the time, posted on Like To all the time. Of course.
Well, see, the cool thing is with Like To, you can take your Like Tos and throw them on listeners and get 2 bangs for the buck.
Yeah.
That's it. That's how we do things here, man. So, Jimmy, man, I'm guessing, a couple months ago when you were on, you were addicted to Hive. Now I'm guessing it's at a fever pitch, even more addicted to Hive.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I am Hive now. Like, it's I wake up, it's Hive. Go to sleep, it's Hive. I'm all in, obviously. But it's not only me. It's just the great part about it is if I was like on my own island, that would be weird. But the fact that I can relate to so many people, whether it's on Hive Twitter, Leo Threads, Listeners, whatever platform I'm on, especially when you comment or when I comment or whatever, when we engage, it's you're engaging with people that believe in Hive, that it's all in. So, I rarely bump into someone who's giving me a negative vibe about Hive. It doesn't even, it's unheard of, right? So yeah, I'm all in. I'm all in. And I don't worry about, I'm like you guys, I'm not worried about price and ups and downs. I don't even give a shit about any of that. Because at this point, I don't think I've earned that right yet. I'm still building. I just started. I just made 2 years today. 2 years on Hive. And
I saw that, man.
Right?
Congratulations.
And out of those 2 years, I've only been active about 1.5 years of that, because the first 6 months I was procrastinating on Hive. I didn't even give a shit about Hive. I just oh, John is in it. I'll join. But I would go back and check. Oh, this shit looks complicated. I'm not going to deal with it. And I would just go back to doing what I was accustomed to. But that one moment where I'm not sure if it was that I got an upvote or I don't know what it was, but I was hook, line, and sinker, never looked back. And I haven't missed a day since February 2021. So it's been
that's crazy.
Every day.
It's funny you said that you don't know when it was, and it's funny. I'm looking back at my journey too. I don't know exactly the date, but there was something. There was this like aha moment I had, and I guess it's kind of similar to you, where it was just like, okay, I get it. This makes sense. Why have I been wasting my time anywhere else? And when people get it, and I can't pinpoint exactly when it was, and I'm gonna say
it was when you got that whale upvote, John. You've talked about
from Joe How Files. Like I was streaming on D Live back then, if you guys remember D Live. And I was streaming Call of Duty, and I was playing Call of Duty, and me and my buddies were just streaming whatever, having fun. Then all of a sudden, $76. I'm like, what the hell? And like I was like, wait a minute, I'm sitting here, playing a video game, and this guy appreciates the fact that I'm playing a video game, gives me an upvote. So that was one of the moments where I was like, okay, this makes sense. But it's also a business thing for me too, knowing that small fish in a very big pond is a really bad like business approach. Being a big fish in a smaller pond is a much more effective approach. That could potentially, we talked about this last week, Tass, that could potentially become a bigger pond. But right now, it's just a little pond. It's just a little puddle. We're just in a little puddle, and we can make a name for ourselves. So I think that's when it really happened for me. Just kind of like, okay, now I get it. Let me focus here. But it wasn't, I don't know if it was one moment. Anyways, enough of my story. Yeah.
But the CTP platform, the membership, when the training, that prepares you for it. But even if that prepares you for it until you actually experience it, it's for example, when I was doing online marketing, when I first started, it took forever to get noticed, just to get one like, just to get one response, one person on my list, one person in my downline. Whereas when I became active on Hive, I mean, that shit was automatic. Like it was on the first day. Yeah. And I said, whoa. And and I was posting. I didn't even know what the hell. I mean, I don't even know what I was just throwing shit up there. Right. See what happens, right? But then I said, you know what? The only way I felt that I was going to survive on this platform is to take what I was doing offline on a personal nature with my Orange Theory Fitness, being a fanatic of OTF, is I'm going to be myself. So I wasn't, my approach from the get-go was just be Jimmy. If they like it, they like it. They don't, they don't. And I never look back on that. I never try to do anything other than be myself. Whereas when you're online marketing, you're trying to be like, like Gary Vee or like people that you can't be, because that's not you. You have to be who you are. Right. Yeah. I mean, and Hive, for some reason, I felt so comfortable when I was creating content and it's not great content, but people, I felt like people were relating to me. They understood where I was coming from. They know that I'm from the ghetto, and that I had to fight my way to do everything in life and go to college eventually and work in the city and party. And like I'm myself, and I talk about myself like people know me. Right. Whether you know me or not, you're gonna know me. So that helped. I mean, that helped a lot. And if people could understand that you can do that, and that's a lot of pressure off my back. No stress. When I'm on Hive, I'm not stressed at all.
Yeah, it's the fake it till you make it culture that like affiliate marketing and online business is famous for. And you can't do that on Hive, right? It's like I'll show you the way to become a whale on Hive. Well, go look at my account. I'm not a whale. I can't lie about that. Like it's like, I'll teach you how to make $100,000 a day on Hive. I'm not making $100 a day on Hive. How am I going to? But you can't do that. And I think that was the biggest thing for me too, was like I could be myself. And I didn't have to front and be like, oh, I'm this suit and tie executive that will show you how to make sales overnight. And it's like, come on, man. Anyway, so I can't stand them. Anyways, just hi, Task. How you doing? Sorry, man. We were getting fired up, buddy.
I guess Friday was my day, and Tuesday's John's day. John.
Dude, Jimmy just started talking about old school affiliate marketing, and that just
that's that passion.
Yeah, we didn't even mention the E word, and John goes on a rant. And
well, you think I don't like Ethereum? I can't stand traditional affiliate marketing. Like,
what was that thing? Shit. You were talking about it in link builders, index builders, something like that. That you were talking about, like the new project that you talked to me about, and what was it? The old I don't remember. It was just like an old time early affiliate marketing days. Just not really a scam, but basically
all of it.
all of it.
All of it was designed to do one thing: separate you from your money. That was it. It was never designed to make you money. It was never designed to teach you anything. It was designed to get out your credit card. And back then, you didn't even have a credit card. You literally had to send physical checks. Like, they didn't. PayPal wasn't a thing back then.
But there was enough gullible people back. I mean, now, not that they don't have them now, but back then, I mean, there was enough and I was one of them. You're just gullible as soon as you come on, because you never experienced that, where people are telling you, shit, dude, you can make $500 just by doing this and this and this. And what do you know? I mean, you're new to this whole internet world and this whole online business thing. And if somebody says you can do it, hey, I want to do it. Sign me up.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of sign me up here, sign me up there. So then then there's the shiny object, the new shiny object syndrome, where every freaking thing you want to join because you think you're going to make $500,000 a pop. And when you turn around, you've spent $1,000 a pop and you didn't earn shit because you didn't do it. And to be fair, not that everything was a scam. It's just that there was a right way of doing it and there was a wrong way of doing it. And the mentors were not really teaching you the right way because they could give it two shits. As long as you sign up under them, they're not going to care what you do because you're already paying them. So a true mentor is going to show you from A to Z. And then those people, if they took it seriously enough, they would earn. But probably not as much as they thought they were going to earn, though.
Well, I think John hit the nail on the head. And it's not only what you guys are talking about. You can take it to a much broader spectrum. It's the old do as I say, not as I do. And John hit the nail on the head. John can sit there and tell you how to make $500 on Hive. The problem is you look at John's account and you say, wait a second, you're not making $500 on Hive. And it's like the fat person telling you how to get in shape, or the person who's bankrupt, taking advice from somebody who's in bankruptcy court on financial advice. It's like you don't seek out the failures and listen to them as to how to do things, because obviously they're not doing it. And if you have somebody, and a lot of it is with these coaches, these mentors, these type of people, like John said, they just want to separate you from your money. So it's like when they say do this, it just sounds good, but that's not what they're doing. What are they doing? They got a list of people just to sell stuff to.
Oh yeah.
And they cultivate that list and they just keep selling them, and then they upsell them and say, well, the reason why you failed is you only had the $299 package. You need the $999 package, and then that'll make you, instead of $500 a day,
then you'll get my insider secrets.
Yeah, then you get the insider secrets, and that's the cool thing about Hive is people don't have to take money out of their pockets to support you on Hive. And, I can support John with an upvote. I don't have to go and send him $20. So we support each other in that way. And also at the same time, you start to see, because it's a small pond, you start to see who the active fish, I won't say the big fish, the active fish are, and the dedicated fish, and who aren't. And the ones who are there every day, posting every day, the ones who are commenting, and we're laughing at you being all over the place. But I've been all over the place for a couple years. Did he
Can
leave?
you hear me?
Oh, his video died.
Oh, your video just cut off.
Yeah, we hear him, but his video's gone.
Am I back?
Yep, you're back.
Yep, you're good.
So
Okay.
I've been that way for years. I've been using ActiveFit. I used Peak D in the past. I'm obviously focused on Leo Finance. I do some in List Nerds. Now I'm in Threads, and then of course I'm creating my own project. And you support what you can, and that's what gets you the name. That's what, as we were talking on Friday, that's what gets the attention of the Matt Starkers, the Call Me Dans, the Block Trades, those type of people. Now, they may not hit you with upvotes, but at least you're on the radar. And last Tuesday, I mean, that's what Eddie Spino did. How the hell did he get hired by They Call Me Dan? Because he showed up. He was all over the place. And Dan just said, I got to hire this guy. He's stepping in wherever is needed. And I think that goes back to the old network marketing motto, givers get, where people go to network marketing events and they just want to get all these leads from everybody else and they never bring anything. And it's like, if you want to be successful in network marketing, not MLM, but, go into these different breakfasts and lead clubs, if you're in sales or businesses and stuff like that, you bring leads for other people. And, over the years with salespeople, those who were successful in network marketing were always those salespeople who took their customer base and said, listen, what else do you need? Do you need plumbing services? I got somebody I know who's excellent at and charges a fair price and is reliable for plumbing services. It's not the other way around. Well, you give me leads and then I'll throw you some too. And I think it's the same way with Hive. I mean, you want upvotes, just get active. Start showing people you're dedicated to Hive and supporting them in whatever way. And maybe you don't have much of an upvote, but you can leave a comment. You can say, hey, Jimmy, that's a great post. I really like this. Did you think about that? Or my experience is this. And, start conversing. And after a few of those, that person's on your radar.
Yeah. But it's not even and the thing is, I always try to coach myself to not always worry about upvotes or even downvotes or whatever. But if I do what I continue doing, and like you said, you see me everywhere, that is my focus always. I did it towards the end before I joined Hive. I actually was starting to pick up steam because I just did that. I rotated my lead capture page everywhere. And people were telling me, yo, Jimmy, I see you everywhere. And so I came with that same approach on Hive. I said, you know what, I'm going to do that because it was working when I stopped doing it online. Well, I haven't completely stopped, but you know what I mean. But when I came on the Hive, I said, I'm going to do that, be myself, basically brand myself, but just being me, but showing up everywhere, be annoying to the point that people are say, Jesus Christ, is this guy every fucking where? Yeah. I want you to see me everywhere because I want to prove to you that anybody could do this, right? And I'm not begging for anything. I'm not asking for anything. I'm not trying to pitch you anything. I'm just being myself, and I love Hive just like everybody else. But I can't talk the talk and not do this. Like I have to be present if I'm going to speak to it. So I can't, that's my attitude. So at the end of the day, and I look, and of course I love my, when I get an upvote, especially for somebody who has, little extra, I love all that. But at this point in time, that's not the most important thing. The most important thing is, where am I going to be long term? I want to be an influence on Hive. I want to be influential. That's my goal.
You just mentioned something, and there's a really good book, 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. Speaking of really savvy guys, he talks about this, and it was something he talked in this book years ago, and it really resonated with me. He called it omnipresent marketing, and his concept was like, I can use, and this is Web 2 stuff, right? So just put it into Hive context here. He's like, I can use YouTube, I can use Twitter, I can use Facebook, I can use Instagram, I can use all these platforms, and it doesn't cost me a dime. So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to use them, and every single time someone turns on their phone, their computer, I want them to see me. I want them to see me. I don't care because it's free. He's like, it's free. What's it going to cost me? It's going to cost me effort. That's what it cost me. It cost me effort to put together, but I want to be in front of people as much as I can, as often as I can, everywhere I can. And that really hit me. And when you just talked about that, that's a really good strategy for the people that will say, well, I don't have the money, I don't have the resources, I don't have the we all have 1440 minutes of a day. So what are you going to do with that? Are you going to sit there and complain and whine? And like you see it on social media all the time. I'm going to complain about the government. I'm going to complain about this political party, that political party. I mean, complain. What is that doing for your life? Really? Do you think that you're going to complain about Trump or Biden, and all of a sudden Trump or Biden are going to go, oh, John said on Twitter that I need to calm down. So you know what? He's right. I'm going to calm down. Like, so why not spend that time? Because again, and the best thing about Hive is that you get rewarded for this. Why don't you go and be out there in front of people and give them value, comment, talk to people, create content, use the apps? But no, people would much rather complain. I don't get it, but yeah.
Effort without expectation.
I think that's, John, what we get into, and you commented on the post the other day, that Hive is for builders, and it's an opportunity. And yeah, not all of us are developers. So creating apps, creating games, that's beyond the capabilities for many of us. But you have a decentralized database that you can tap into that you only need resource credits for. You don't need any other permissions, nothing else. And yet people simply still complain. And I think it's, at the end of the day, they'll lead the horse to water, but very few drink. I think most people are just destined to stay in that slave mentality. And they're not with the entrepreneur. They have it too easy. And they just rather complain, like you said, about Biden or the Democrats or the Republicans or Trump or, whatever they want to complain about, the whales, the Bitcoin maximalists, whatever. And it's like, what are you doing on Hive? Are you building something or aren't you? And what are you building? And, do you have any talents? Do you have any unique skills? Is there a niche that you can set yourself apart, going back to the small pond? A niche that you can set yourself apart, become the Hive expert in whatever. And then ultimately over time, as more people with that interest come, usually niches, they're small, but they're dedicated. They're passionate. And you could be the Pied Piper. You could be the leader there. You have a database that you can put up your ideas. You can show your knowledge and become, show yourself to be an expert on the Edmonton Oilers. Show yourself to be an expert on whatever. How many people are doing that?
Yeah.
And then to add to it now, which I think is an important thing, because it's like, we were talking about Jimmy being everywhere. What he's doing is using the tools that have been created.
Yes.
So we look at the idea, and we talk about this all the time, John, from the Steam days, where you put up a long form blog post. If you didn't, you got hammered. You put up a long form blog post, you got paid in Steam and SBD, and that was it. And now we have all these different front ends. Many of them have their own tokens. Now you can take it and you can send it out on listeners. Now you can take it and you can put it out as a thread. Now you can do your like it to. You can start using these different applications to market the blog post that you just wrote.
Yeah.
And reach more people. And what's funny, I Am Farm Girl wrote, and I put the comment in. She wrote a blog post. Now I hadn't checked my feed as of yet. So I was going through the threads. And so I upvoted her thread. Then it was because it was of her blog post. I clicked through, I went to her blog post, read through her blog post. I upvoted her blog post, and I wrote a comment and said, I got here because I hadn't checked my feed through the threads. And then, of course, she used Leo Glossary. So I said, okay, I'll give you an extra percentage of upvote on that. But I upvoted her in two different ways. And I would have seen her on my feed when I got to it, or actually on the recent, because I go through that every morning. But it was just another way that she put her content out there that I can find, marketing her content. Now, maybe somebody comes across that on Threads who isn't following her, who doesn't check the recent feeds on Leo Finance, and maybe sees that, clicks through and says, okay, I'll give you a 25% upvote, and I'm a Hive whale. You just don't know.
Right. Sorry, go ahead, Jim.
That's the be everywhere and use the tools, and it costs nothing. I mean, it costs resource credits. So if you got enough resource credits, take the URL, your blog post, and stick it in Threads.
Yeah, and if you need resource credits, let us know. Just let me know. Yeah, I'll send you some. So it's okay. Anyways, yeah, dude. But Jimmy, let's go more onto something you've been obviously. The first time you were here, we talked about listeners. And look, I know you love it. I know you're a big fan of it. But something I wanted you to kind of highlight is something that you've really taken to over the past couple of weeks, and that's Threads. What's your experience been so far? Why do you think it's important that people on Hive need to be using this stuff? And let's you got to talk a lot because we don't want Tass to start talking about Leo and stuff because he'll just keep going and talk about how great it is and wonderful.
Hey, let me jump in here. Let me jump in here and say something. And this is very complimentary. I will say, in viewing Threads, I have to give enormous credit to the CTP group. CTP has been well represented on Threads. In fact, I'll go out on a limb here and say CTP has better representation on Threads than Leo Finance does. The CTP team, the user base of CTP is all over it. And I tip my hat to everybody on CTP who's using Threads.
It's all Jimmy. Let's be honest.
No, it's not me.
No, it's not.
It's not me because I didn't even rank in that top 10 list or whatever it was. And I said, oh shit, now I have a new goal. I have to make that list. But I don't
even know. I saw your thread. What list are you talking about? I don't even know what the hell you're talking about. I saw your thread.
A chart where was it Forex Broker, I think had the most threads.
Right.
And then Metzley was on that list, and iFarm Girl is on that list. And I said, shit, I didn't make that list, but I know I wasn't going to make it because I'm still far behind on threading. I should be threading more, but I also have to do it a lot on the phone, and you know how that goes. But with that said, that's a goal of mine. But just to
you're right, John. His new addiction.
Just to back up a bit, there's two things. But one of the things that's very important for me when being on Hive is that people understand that I'm a CTP ambassador first. Number one, I'm on Hive because of CTP. So anywhere I go and anytime I post something, I'm going to kind of stick that in once in a while. I'll kind of have to stick that in there. It's not because, I'm kissing ass. No, I'm on Hive because of CTP.
I kissed, buddy. I got bad news for you. I ain't no whale, man. I can't do nothing for you.
But you know what? But people say, this guy always John knows him. No, because they don't understand that I can go back in history on my online marketing experience, and I've been following John for about 15 to 17 years, if not more. Right? Yeah. So I trust him and I follow him and everything. So I'm on Hive because of him. So I'm always going to stick that in there. But anyway, so if you see that I put, I like to hashtag CTP, I like to bring up CTP Allies because I owe a lot to them. But when it comes to Leo Threads, yeah, the thread casting was awesome. I think it's going to be amazing. Just the fact that we're going to have an alternative to Twitter, all of that is great. But yesterday I posted something about me working remotely and how things may change soon, and who knows if the company I work for, they're remote. Like they're nowhere near Florida. So if I lose that opportunity where people have to go into the office, guess who's not going to have a job? Right? So then I have to pivot. So now that I know that Leo Threads exists and it's only going to get better, for my situation, there's a strong possibility that I might have to go back to going into an office, meaning I have to commute. So how am I going to continue to remain visibly active? I feel that Leo Threads is probably the number one thing for me.
Nice.
Because on my lunch break, at a traffic stop.
Thread. Hey.
In the bathroom. I will be
no
threading
texting and driving, man.
Everything's going to be threaded.
He stopped.
More than likely, 90% of my interaction will be on Threads. Period. Right. That's the truth. So as far as timing is concerned, with this coming out now and with the remote thing now getting a little bit, iffy, enough said. Like now that is, to me, use case. That's my use case for Leo Threads, and why I believe in it now even more. Of course, with everything else, the possibilities of Leo Threads, we're seeing it right now, actually. Because every day that I look at Threads, every time I look at it, I see more and more and more. And I actually see a core group of people that are constantly on there. And that's showing me like, hey, this thing is here to stay.
Just to sidetrack, John, I have to translate for you.
Yes,
Jimmy is becoming a true Floridian. Half the people in Florida, when they come to a stop sign, they put the car in park. So, Florida driving is a little bit different than the rest of the world. They'll stop for no apparent reason. They just, so you have to understand, many of them are blue haired, but Jimmy's just getting a jump on the age thing here. And, he's a little young to start doing that goofy stuff, but he puts his car in park at the stop sign and then does his thread, then puts it in gear and goes.
Keep on moving.
Safety is always paramount.
As long as you guys are being safe, that's all I care about. Not in Florida.
I agree with you, Jimmy. I think, and Cal put out a thread about he's so excited for V4 coming out, which that means nothing. Cal always puts all that shit out.
Yeah, he just likes to get
updates. But from what I understand, this version is going to have more features. The last version was helping the performance. This is going to have some of the features, some of the basic features I believe people have asked about. And so I agree with you. I think we're working from a baseline. This is as bad as Leo Threads gets. It will only keep getting better. They take the feedback. They will keep adding more features. And ultimately, it will roll into Project Blank, where it'll be its own standalone app and that type of thing, which will help it with mobile enormously. So I think it's, again, one of those things that it's simple. How can you not utilize this to stand out? And then you don't know. Cal's in there with, and Cal leaves a pretty healthy upvote when he upvotes threads. He does 3 Leo. I'm in there, as I said, I went through 6 or 8 hours this morning of threads. I just went back and I hit every one of them with a 0.5 Leo upvote. One alpha comes through at times and they'll just hit people. So yes, it's not all the time do upvotes get, but everybody I upvoted this morning, by the way, I think I hit you up a couple times. I hit a couple other people a couple times. That's 0.25 Leo, which is 2 cents right now. And people say it's only 2 cents. Big deal. It's a thread. How long does it take you to spit out a thread?
Exactly.
Right.
And you got 2 cents. And you probably had fun doing it. You're like, hey, this is cool. You said, you're talking about whatever interests you. And it's you threw together 100, 200 characters and you got 2 cents. It's
dude, all I got to do is just watch you guys talk about the Mets all day on Leo.
There you go.
Hey,
and listen, and by the way, when you tweet, you're not getting those 2 cents.
Right. Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, you get half a cent. You're getting 10 billion more than you'd ever get on Twitter. But.
Yeah, and that's at Leo at 8 cents. What happens if Leo gets to 80 cents in the next 2 years or whatever? And then, the ad revenue and then all this other stuff. And it just all feeds into the same trough. And we can even step back and say this about Hive. And that's why I was very excited for listeners. I was very excited for threads. I'm very excited what I know about the new project that John and Blaine are working on. I'm excited for the Speak Network and what those guys are doing, what they're looking at. I'm even excited. I mean, I'm not into shooting games or whatever it is, but CyberX is looking very interesting. And, all of this starts to feed into the same trough. And it's this goes back to what you and I talked about a long time ago, John. As more of these applications roll out, you were talking about what's his face, talking about social media costs nothing. The difference is Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, you have to get all new followers. On Hive, they're all there.
Exactly.
So you don't need to reproduce it and start all over and say, oh my God, now I'm using John's new app and I got to start from square one. No, it's you log in with your Hive account. All of the people are there.
That's a good point.
And at its basic, at the simplest thing that I look at, because I want to do my part to make sure that Hive moves forward, is if Leo Threads is available to us, I feel that it's my duty as a hiver to give it a shot, to go on there, to help out, to do my part. I can't stand on the sidelines and bitch about things and not do it. I have to participate, right? Because if you're not participating and you don't know what's going on, then how can you give your feedback, honest feedback, not bitchy feedback? And so, yeah. So to me, it's like, that's important. I feel, again, like you said, I'm not a developer. I'm not none of that shit. But if I could do my part, however it is, whatever I have to do, right? Because I consider myself, what's that word? Anyway, it doesn't, I always feel myself, I'm grungy. Like I get my hands dirty if I have to, right? It doesn't matter to me. I'm not trying to be, I just want to be part of something, but I want to be able to help out the best I can. And Leo Threads is there for us to use, so why not use it? I can't worry about what it cannot do. Let's work with what it can do right now, and then we worry about all the other shit later. And the same thing with listeners. Yeah, I used listeners before it was on the blockchain, right? And there were certain things I didn't like about it, but guess what? I still use it. I used to use listeners for a specific thing, and it helped me out for that. So now that I'm using Leo Threads, I do the same thing. I say, okay, whatever it can do for me right now, and for Hive altogether, and for Leo altogether, just do it. Just use it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so
and to answer Blaine's question, he says we have a new project. Blaine, I guess you didn't realize, John and I talked about the new project is CTP book. We just decided that you just have to recreate Facebook, that it's really needed, and we need it by next Saturday. So, we felt confident you can pull it off.
And don't forget CTP book page.
You guys just wait. Okay, he's got 18 more days, he said last night, until he's full-time. Just wait. Just wait.
Yeah, I do agree. I use that term a lot, Jimmy. We all have a role to play. And a lot of us aren't designed like we're talking about Blaine. Blaine can handle the high-end, the development stuff. That's what he does. I couldn't even imagine that. I mean, I was just happy, like last couple of weeks ago, I learned how to do tables in Markdown. So that's progress for me. But I can leave comments. I can utilize new apps. I can get on to Leo Threads. I can go on to listeners. I can talk about this stuff on the show. I can support people who are trying to do things and utilize different things. I can talk up CTP. All of this stuff helps because it's like you said, there's so many of the people just bitching and moaning and whining and complaining. And yes, I went on a rant on Friday because I've seen it happen with the Speak guys. I've seen it happen with the Hive development team. I've seen it now with John and Blaine and Eliana. I've seen it happen with Cal. And it's like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Not the people I'm mentioning. It's like the people bitching and moaning. What the hell are you doing? And it's like these people are putting blood, sweat, tears, and money in a lot of instances into this stuff. And then when it rolls out, you give it one glance and just bitch and moan about it and don't even support it and use it. And it's like, oh, listener, it sucks. The token price is dying. It's this, it's that. Shut the hell up. Use it for about 6 months. Give feedback. I mean, John and Blaine will take feedback, constructive feedback, and say, hey, maybe this or maybe that. But of course, there's also some of the obvious things like, if you give them feedback that like 90,000 people have said, it's like John's going to say, yeah, no duh. I mean,
we need to fix inflation. It's like,
yeah. Well, why? Well, if you know why, you fix it. Well, you can't fix it in 3 minutes, dumbass. It takes a while. We're working on it. Just shut up and use listeners, and we'll get back to you. I mean, it's just, and we see this all over the place, and it comes back to who are the builders, who are the ones developing stuff. And first thing is they get ripped while they're doing it. And then when they're successful, it's like, oh, John was just lucky. Blaine was just lucky. You know.
I'm the luckiest.
But then, not for nothing, similar things happen on offline, online marketing too. The expectation is always going to be here when people have to be realistic and, hey, hang out here.
That's why I say, I mean, this is not exclusive Hive. These are the same people who are bitching about their boss and the company they work for and how awful it is and their boss is an idiot and, the company sucks. And it's like, well, why have you been here 15 years? Leave.
At the end of the day, yeah.
Well, what you said there is bang on, and this is Jimmy will know this because this is CTP lore. Like, this is one of the pillar pieces of content in CTP. We talk about this thing called the $2.74 model, the formula.
It, yeah.
And the concept is simple. It's like everyone wants $274 a day. If you multiply that by 365, you get $100,000, give or take. Everyone wants $100,000 a year from their online business. No one, though, wants to learn how to make $2.74 a day. No one wants to learn how to make $27 a day.
Or how about 27.5 cents a day?
Yeah, they don't want to learn that. They don't want to learn the grunt work, like Jimmy said, the stuff that's in the trenches. They don't want to learn that. They want to jump right to the shiny object. And you see that on Hive. Everyone wants Hive to go to $5. Everyone wants Hive to have Ethereum level development going on. Everyone wants the end goals. No one's willing to put in the work now. This is why we say it from the top of the mountain.
Very few percentage.
Very few. Yeah, not no one. Yeah, very few, let's say. Get in now. Now is the time because you're a big fish in a smaller pond. If you're active, right? Being an active fish. I thought that was a really good thing. I wrote that down. I'm going to make a post about that. But get active now so you can be noticed because, like you said, Task, your followers now, what happens if the killer app on Hive gets launched in a year from now or something and everyone's fighting for followers? Well, if you are putting in the work now, your followers are already there. Because you're using the tools now, you're using the apps now, you're using what's here now, so that when it gets
and also, John, we have the ability to affect the followers of others by bringing people like Jimmy on. I mean, Jimmy's all over the place, but we're helping, giving him exposure, logical dude, and shining light on what he's doing and trying to help other people on the blockchain to realize, hey, these are part of the doers. Follow them, support them, get involved with them. And, that's what makes a difference. I mean, let's be honest. How many CTP members are there on paper or, on virtual paper? What would CTP be like, John, if you had everybody at CTP or if at least half the people on that list were like Jimmy? I mean, think of it.
I mean, CTP on paper has got like 250,000 members.
I'm even talking just on the people who are on CTP chat or people on Leo Finance. If we had 200 people on Leo Finance who were like Jimmy, can you imagine what Leo Finance would be?
Well, so we got to figure out how to clone Jimmy and bottle him up and
No.
Well, we can do sheep. I don't know. From sheep to Jimmy.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
It's been 20 years. I mean, technology might have changed. I mean, we can clone them.
I see people now. Like my path to fire. Man, that guy came out of the blue. Man, that guy is killing it. And I'm like, wow, that's what you got to do, right man. He's everywhere.
That's what we need. We need like 50, 100, 200 people on these different apps just going batshit crazy and being everywhere. And like Jimmy said, he's a prime example. I'm a prime example. I didn't come to Hive with a following. I didn't come to Hive as a social media giant. I didn't have a YouTube following or a Twitter following. I just got busy, got involved, and became one of the biggest commenters out there and writing just a shitload of words on the screen. And you start doing that in a lot of different posts and people will recognize you. And it's like, where do we find 100 people? And I understand not everybody can dedicate the time that I did. Maybe Jimmy does. Maybe you do, John. People have responsibilities. But Jimmy's already saying, if I go back to work, He's already thinking up ways how he can still remain tapped in, keep building his business, even though he's going to possibly have to commute and be in an office, and saying, okay, I'll have a coffee break. I'll have, a bathroom break. I'll have lunch. I'll have this. I'll have that. I got my phone. Maybe I can bounce around and do 10, 15 throughout the day. And then later in the day or in the evening, then I can really attack it.
Post, yeah.
And that's what it takes. Instead of sitting there on Twitter bitching about Biden or bitching about whatever people are bitching about, Trump or the Yankees or whatever. Well, it's okay to bitch about the Yankees. That's
well, we need that for content.
Yes. 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 And context too. But if we have a situation where it's like what the old adage, what do you spend on your time? Oh, I have no spare time. Nobody has spare time. It's like nobody works these businesses in their spare time because we don't have it. They work it part-time. So turn off Netflix, turn off your Twitter, turn off your Facebook, get on Hive and write a blog post. Leave 20 comments, get involved in Twitter threads, send out your listener posts, do all these things, utilize the tools that are there. And the cool thing is on Hive, people like John and Blaine and Cal, they're improving the tools that are here, so they're getting better over time. Plus, more tools are being rolled out over time. So it just makes our ability to, I don't know, John, what would be the term? Market ourselves, market our stuff, engage. It makes it that much easier and more effective.
Definitely.
People do business with those they know, like, and trust. So your job is to get people to know, like, and trust you. And you're not going to get everyone to like you. I mean, I'm sure there's people that hate Jimmy. I don't know why. I don't know how. But I'm sure there is. There's people, grumpy. Or, he talked about the Mets, like, damn you, or something. I mean, you never know. But
those are the
Yankee
Philly
fans.
But
Philly
it
fans.
is what it is. When you're a New Yorker, shit like that don't bother you. It is what it is, man.
Yeah.
You move on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you keep it moving.
But people love me, though, man. Most people do love me.
I just love Blaine's response. They're boomers. Just the boomers. Yeah. They're clueless.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, man. I mean, to me, it's a fantastic opportunity for people to step out of that shell, let's say, and like you said, Jimmy, why don't you use these things? Why don't you use these apps that are here and just like stop making the excuses? And the big thing, this is what I really wanted to say when you were talking. I was like, yes, he's saying it's perfect. Use the apps, get noticed. This is the biggest thing I see is that most people do it really gung-ho for like a day or two, and then poof, they're gone in a week. And it's like that's
ghosts. Like ghosts.
Ghosting it. Like
wow.
And usually, John, that is in relation to the price of the market. So if the market goes down, then they go.
I'd say so, but I'm going to speak specifically to the CTP tribe because I love the CTP tribe.
I know what you were saying, yeah.
I say this, me and Blaine and Eliana do these shows, and a lot of people were like, you guys are always ranting. It's not that we're ranting. It's just like we've seen this. I've seen this for 20 plus years. People are really excited about something, super excited. So much so that you think, oh, these guys stick with it. They're going to, but they don't stick with it. And they give it a shot for like a month max. And then poof, like Jimmy said, ghosted. They're gone. And then they'll sit there and bitch and whine and say, oh, this doesn't work. And this sucks. And I need to do something different. And it's not working. Well, they haven't even put in the effort. They haven't invested themselves into this fully. They've tried to catch the wave. And well, waves crash, man. It's going to suck. You're going to go under the water a few times. But you get back up.
It's like the old adage. How many golf balls did Tiger Woods hit? How many auditions did Robert De Niro go on? I mean, it's most of your overnight successes took decades to make. Yeah. And you guys can pick out people in the affiliate marketing world, and maybe some of them got lucky and hit it quick. I don't know Gary Vee's story. Maybe he hit it quick. But you know what? There's also a very good chance he spent years and years and years trying to develop stuff and may have had a number of failures along the way. I mean, that's just the way it is. So anybody who comes to Hive, and of course, we did a lot of creating our own bad image with, the Jerry Banfields of the world running around. I made $15,000 on my first 3 posts. You can too. He did the typical online marketing bullshit that was commonplace forever. And
I don't know about that one.
Guy's name? What was that other guy's name? Joe. Remember him on Steam? Joe, his name. He was like a marketer guy that would he did all these, I'll show you how to make all this money with Steam, and he did like all these tutorial videos and like sold it on Udemy or something like that.
Holy shit.
I forget. Wow. Anyways, he's one of those big marketing type guys, but just like Jerry, right? Like, I'll show you how to do all this. And it's like, yeah, you can do that when you come in with a large following. It's very simple. Hey, I got 100,000 followers on YouTube. Come to this new thing and I'll show you the way. It's like, yeah, of course, but what about the grinders now? Like you said, Task, come here with nothing, come here with nothing and build, and you'll be pleasantly surprised. Like Jimmy and like me, like all these people from CTP that were sitting there going, there's got to be a better way to do this. Like, it doesn't have to be the pitch. It can actually be, heaven forbid, building relationships with people. Spending the investment.
Let me ask you a question, John. Where did you find Eliana?
Well, Eliana came from CTP. Like, she came from doing same thing Jimmy did, like being a member, going through the lessons, doing the grunt work, showing up every day. And she took, for Eliana's story, she literally took to heart what we were saying, started creating these lead capture pages that were absolutely mind-blowing, like attention-grabbing stuff. She started like this thing where, like, because we used to give out like stickers to, like, if you were a paying customer, I'd send you a little handwritten note and send you a sticker. So I sent one to her. She did a video with her taking a sticker, smacking it on her forehead. It became this viral thing in CTP. It became, even a little meme, a little GIF, an animated GIF. We've got Eliana smacking her head with the CTP sticker. So Eliana came from the grunt work. She came from actually.
And now she's in business with you all.
Now she's a partner. Yeah.
Eddie Spino's story. Same thing. Just be everywhere. You never know what's going to happen.
Yep.
And what type of collaborations arise? It's, you never know. I put it in an article. What happens if you're a content creator and all of a sudden there's somebody who's not much of a content creator, but that person has expertise in marketing. And all of a sudden the two of you connect and start talking, and somebody says, well, listen, if you give me 25% beneficiary, I'll market your stuff and blah, blah, blah. And, maybe there's a business opportunity there, whatever the case may be. We all have different skills.
Oh, dude, if you want to give me 25% of whatever you're doing, Task, I could dance on camera for you all the time, buddy. You're the big dog.
I've seen your marketing results. I'd rather give 25% to Blaine and have him build me a front end or something.
Ah, man, don't disrespect the dancing. It's like epic.
Jimmy, we all have excuses, right? We all have excuses, but it's what you do with those, besides those excuses that matters. Because we all have so many reasons why we can't do something. Yeah.
We need the one reason why we can, right? And that's what should drive us. What else are you working on, man? Before we jump out of here, what are you what are you doing? What are you up to? Other than staying the course and being a leader by example.
On Monday, I go back to working out after 3 freaking months, and my ActiveFit posting will go back into business, baby. That's what I'm looking forward to. After 3 freaking months, I'll finally get back to working out. And then it's going to be tough to try to balance the ActiveFit and and so it's going to get a little complicated, but I'm all in. I'll figure it out. I could probably figure both out at the same time or something.
And you do the majority of the stuff.
There's nothing that says you can't do threads while working out, depending on your workout.
If you're on the treadmill, just
that's going to be tough. That's going to be tough, but basically what I'm doing now, my routine is if I post something, if I do a post and I do a post on Light2, the first share that I do is Leo Threads. Number one. Then I'll pivot over to listeners and make sure that I queue it up. And then I do the Twitter thing because we have, and again, I'm using that at Jimmy Adame's Twitter. It's just for Hive. And then I'll do the ECC boost. So that's my routine. So Leo Threads into listeners, into Twitter, into ECC boost.
Let me ask you a question, because you were the first that I recognize, and probably the first on listeners, where you would grab other people's posts and send them out of your listeners' account to your following on listeners, or to the ones who receive your emails. Have you been going around on CTP or Leo Finance or PT or whatever you do, Ecency, and been grabbing other people's posts and throwing them on threads? Because I think that's a huge opportunity where, I mean, I agree with you. I think if you put anything on Hive, it should be on threads.
I did it for you. I did it to yours today. I do a hashtag threads, and then I go share. So I shared one of the posts that you put up today on that you threaded. I thread shared it on Twitter. So then I said hashtag threads share, and then I tweeted it. So it's right there. I could do it from the thread thing. It says, "Oh, there goes the tweet," and I tweeted it. So it's right there.
Yeah, you tweet it out, but do you grab other people's content and throw them in the threads itself?
You mean thread a thread?
No, thread somebody else's post.
I've done that, one or two, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah,
because as I was saying, you were on all over that with listeners.
Well, I think that's important because, especially you're not going to have original content all day, every day. Yeah, and some of the things that you run into on Hive, which is amazing because we got amazing content creators. We really do. And it's tough for me to say, shit, I want to share this. And, maybe it's redundant to some people, but I say, no, I'm going to do my part because I may be sharing something that one or two people hadn't seen it, and they're going to appreciate that I did it. So I get appreciation from the person who I'm sharing their stuff, but I'm also going to get appreciation from the person who say, oh, wow, Jimmy, thanks for sharing that. I didn't see this before.
Well, and also if we do get a feature in threads where you have like your following, where, just like we have our feed of long form content, if there's, we have all of a sudden the threads, whoever we're following, we get their threads. Now, all of a sudden, if you take John's post, even if he threaded it out himself, his following and your following are going to be different. So if you take his post and thread it out, all of a sudden his post may be seen by new people, different people. Yeah. And, I think that's where part of the cooperation, that's where part of the, givers get, that's where part of the, there's a lot of content we can put on threads because, like you said, you don't have to be the content creator yourself. If you see John's post, it strikes you as something important and you say, this is good, grab it, send it out. All of a sudden your following sees John post and maybe it influences some people and maybe it brings some people to say, who's this John Olson dude? Oh, listeners. Well, let me check that out or whatever the case may be.
Rethreads, when the rethreads option comes in, that's going to be huge. To me, that's another level. That's probably outside of Threadcast and some of the other ideas. Rethread is probably in the top 3. No, top 2.
I would say it's a basic. John, let me ask you a question. You've been on Twitter since like day 2. Do you think most people use Twitter with original tweets or retweeting?
I think it's a healthy mix. There's a lot of retweets and stuff that go make things go viral, and that's how you get trending topics and stuff. But there's still a big chunk of the people that create content on Twitter, and so it gets retweeted. So I think it's
die by Twitter. They live and die by Twitter.
Oh, dude, Twitter is still king for short form content, and I know Instagram and TikTok, but you think about where people get their news, where news breaks first. It's all through Twitter.
Funny. Gary Vee doesn't even rank Twitter as nowhere, not even in the top 5. His thing right now is YouTube Shorts. He says that's like TikTok, Facebook pages, and Instagram doesn't even rank in the top 3 anymore, according to Gary Vee. Which is like Twitter, man. Twitter is like I don't know. I thought Twitter was always in the top 3.
Hey, man. Yeah, who am I to argue with the king, right? He's the king of social media. But
because Twitter is like my newspaper in a sense.
Absolutely. Like I don't even, like my mom will be like, "Oh, I watch the news." I'm like, I don't watch the news, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
Look for hashtag and you're in there. Yeah. So you want Leo Threads to become that, without question. Without question.
Well, and as you said, what John was saying is it's the retweeting. The rethreading will help things to go viral because then we can reach our following. So my followers, your followers, John followers, Blaine's followers, they're not all the same. There will be some overlapping, but all of a sudden, if I take John's post and I thread it out, then you see that and you rethread it, we're reaching different people.
Yeah.
Yep.
And there's not gonna be no looking back after that, really. I think it'll bring more people on, because now people will say, well, if I have the opportunity to thread something and people are going to rethread it, that's kind of cool. I mean, definitely virally, that's like another level. Definitely.
Dude.
Yeah, I wonder, John, how that feeds into content discovery. It's still haphazard. It's still, you're not finding stuff you're necessarily looking for, but it could be stuff showing up and authors showing up that Jimmy finds important. And because I have similar interests, or I understand Jimmy, there's that connection there. I know we've talked about content discovery and how blockchain and on Hive, it's very difficult, but that might be a way of at least enhancing it a bit.
Without question.
Yeah. Could be. I think it's all brand new world, man. I mean, this stuff we're pioneers to this stuff. So,
I just love the timing of it. I'm very happy with it.
But see that you get luckier the more you show up, right? The timing of things.
Perfect timing. Perfect timing.
Dude,
The more threads you put out, the greater chance of getting an upvote on a thread and earning 2 cents that could turn into 20 cents.
We just task in one alpha, man. We're just trying to attract their votes, man. That's it,
Cal's,
Cal.
as I said, he's leaving 3 and 4 Leo upvotes on thread. So
Nice.
You can't argue with that. I haven't gotten any for some reason. I don't know.
It's because you bug them all the time.
I say bad things about him on
threads. Yeah.
On threads.
Yeah. Jimmy, dude, you are a true practice what you preach type of guy, man. And I think Hive is a better place because you live by this stuff, man. And it's always good to have you sharing your experiences with us, and a great conversation too. Appreciate you coming by and sharing with us all this stuff. And hopefully you come back for your 3rd appearance, man. I'm keeping track of all the shows, man, to make sure that we,
And this is what, episode 143?
143.
So
Pretty sure it's 143.
I forgot what the first time I was. I gotta look that up to see what episode that was. But yeah, it's always an honor because I never miss a show. So to be on the show that I never miss a show on, that's awesome.
Appreciate you, man, and thanks for all the support. And if you need anything, let us know. And yeah, man, just keep.
How you doing on resource credits, Jimmy? I mean, you could have. I mean, Jimmy may be the first guy to go through 100,000 high power resource credits just by using threads.
That's a good thing.
I think I'm fine. I don't get any, and nothing comes up telling me that I'm not okay.
Awesome, man. Thank you for coming.
Appreciate you guys. Now I got to get back to work.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
At least you don't have to go in the office yet.
Yeah.
More life.
Later, man.
Have a good one.
Thank you, guys.